Good Friday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it to the end of another week. But of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Friday. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with Dr. Alan Law, discussing the importance of taking care of your teeth. Enjoy today's program. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Friday headlines. In national news, the fire that's still here, U.S. is still battling the Delta variant. While all eyes are on the new and little understood Omicron variant, the Delta form of the coronavirus isn't finished wreaking havoc in the U.S., sending record numbers of patients to the hospital in the Midwest and New England. Omicron is a spark that's on the horizon. Delta variant is the fire that's here today, said one doctor who was the director of the State Center for Disease Control and Prevention in Maine, where an unprecedented 334 people were in the hospital with COVID-19 as of midweek this week. The U.S. recorded its first known Omicron infection on Wednesday in a fully vaccinated person who had returned to California from South Africa, where the variant was first identified just over a week ago. Two more U.S. cases were confirmed on Thursday. One was a Colorado woman who had recently traveled to southern Africa. The other was a Minnesota man who had attended a convention in New York City just before Thanksgiving that drew an estimated 50,000 people. Minnesota officials said he had no history of international travel that would suggest the variant has begun to spread within the U.S. already. But there is much that is unknown about Omicron, including whether it is more contagious than previous versions, makes people sicker, or more easily is impacted by the vaccine, or breaks through the immunity that people get from a bout of COVID-19. For now, the extra contagious Delta variant accounts for practically all cases in the U.S. and continues to inflict misery at a time when many hospitals are struggling with shortages of nurses and a backlog of patients undergoing procedures that have been put off early in the pandemic. The fear is that Omicron will force even more patients, and perhaps sicker ones, onto hospitals. 2 years into the outbreak, COVID-19 has killed over 780,000 Americans, and deaths are running at about 900 per day. COVID-19 cases and deaths in the U.S. have dropped by about half since the Delta peak in August and September, but at about 86,000 new infections per day, the numbers are still high, especially heading into the holidays when people travel and gather with family. With the onset of cold weather sending more people indoors, hospitals are feeling the strain. In more national news, new data suggests 1 in 44 U.S. children affected by autism. New autism numbers released Thursday suggest more U.S. children are being diagnosed with the developmental condition at a younger age. In an analysis of 2018 data from nearly a dozen states, researchers at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found that among 8-year-olds, 1 in 44 have been diagnosed with autism. That rate compares with 1 in 54 identified with autism in 2016. U.S. autism numbers have been on the rise for several years, but experts believe that reflects more awareness and wider availability of services to treat the condition rather than a true increase in the number of affected children. A separate CDC report released on Thursday said that children were 50% more likely to be diagnosed with autism by age 4 in 2018 than in 2014. In more national news, charging decision anticipated for Michigan shooter's parents. A prosecutor considering criminal charges against the parents of a boy accused of killing 4 students at a Michigan school said Thursday their actions went far beyond negligence and that the gun seems to have been just freely available to the teenager. Ethan Crumbley, 15, has been charged as an adult with 24 crimes, including murder, attempted murder, and terrorism, for a shooting Tuesday at Oxford High School in Oakland County, roughly 30 miles north of Detroit. 4 students were killed and 7 more people were injured, including a student who remained in critical condition as of Thursday. The semi-automatic gun was purchased by Crumbley's father last week, according to investigators. In more national news, man arrested in death of Jacqueline Avant, music icon's wife. A 29-year-old man has been arrested in the death of philanthropist Jacqueline Avant, who was fatally shot this week at the Beverly Hills home she shared with her husband, legendary music executive Clarence Avant, police said on Thursday. The suspect is currently on parole and was taken into custody early Wednesday by Los Angeles police at his separate residence after a burglary there, Beverly Hills police chief said on Thursday. The police recovered an AR-15 rifle at that home that was believed to have been used in the shooting of Jacqueline Avant. And finally, in business news, broad rally lifts U.S. stocks after run of volatile trading. A broad rally on Wall Street pushed stocks higher Thursday, giving the S&P 500 its best day in 7 weeks as the market recouped some of its losses after several days of volatile trading. The benchmark index rose 1.4%, its biggest gain since mid-October. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Consider greater possibilities. Explore ways to expand your life experiences. Take some time every day to consciously explore and embrace new ideas as you put forth positive energy to attract opportunities. Be sure to act on these opportunities, even if it is something minor, as this sends a message to the universe and to God that you are ready to experience even more success and fulfillment. God then reciprocates by sending more opportunities to you. This creates an ongoing cycle of creative successes to transform your life. When you take time to explore the possibilities for growth in your life, it begins a powerful new phase of expansion and success. Today, allow your mind to roam freely as you invite new ideas into your consciousness. And as always, enjoy the day.
Dr. Ellen Law is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight. We're here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Dr. Ellen Law joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the importance of taking care of your natural teeth and getting back to those dental appointments. Here's a bit of our conversation.
So I think the big thing here is, it should be an obvious thing, Dr. Law, because of what we've learned growing up, but what happens if you don't take care of your teeth?
That's a great question. Some of the obvious things are getting cavities, and the cavities can result in pain and infection, and if it's not taken care of, it could result in tooth loss, which is obviously a more serious problem, and it's a more expensive problem to address.
And I think that is one of the big things for sure, especially as we are getting older. I know I'm now 46, Dr. Law, and I'm really appreciating what I learned growing up about taking care of your teeth, brushing, flossing, and of course having those regular checkups. But I'm curious as to the survey that I mentioned. What does the new survey show when it comes to Americans and their feeling toward their teeth?
Well, first of all, 46 is pretty young, so I wouldn't be calling yourself old. But what Americans found is that 81% of Americans wish they had taken better care of their teeth when they were younger, and over half wish their parents had instilled better habits for them, oral hygiene habits, because they also reported, almost half reported that tooth pain and oral health issues negatively affected their productivity and their focus and their jobs.
Dr. Law, did you all find that people, because of the pandemic in particular, have been hesitant about keeping their appointments over the past year?
Yes, certainly COVID has created some concern about going into the dental office, but they should know, and you should know, that it's perfectly safe to go into the dental office to receive dental care, and it's important to maintain your oral health.
Yeah, such a great point. Now I want to talk about, of course, traveling for the holidays and, of course, people who are going to be eating either with family or friends, whether they're at home or on the road. Who is their first line of defense, or what should be, Dr. Law, when it comes to if they happen to hurt a tooth during the holidays?
Certainly. Well, get in early. Obviously, if you do break a tooth or you're having tooth pain, the earlier you get in, the more likely it is you're going to be able to save the tooth.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back to you guys on Monday with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.